What up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mouzakis and we are locked in. This is episode 2 of Clickbait, the detective. We got introduced to Pia in the first episode. We've seen a little bit about the detective also. We do know that he's trying to do that job a little, more than what the whole office wants to do. So we got to get out here. We got to find out who killed Nick. But before we get into this episode, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel and you can be a part of it, hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Hit that like button. It's the easiest thing you can do. Now, at the end of the last episode, we seen that they opened up the back of the truck, the van where they recorded this, but there was nothing in there. I told y'all they weren't going to give us all that action in the first episode. So now we pick up where we left off, but we get a little bit of background about the detective and how he actually plays a part in this show other than being the detective on the case. This is episode 2, the detective, Clickbait. Detective Amiri, he goes in there. Man, it ain't nothing in here. Damn it. Pia's over here. Remember I told y'all she followed the whole convoy over to the crime scene. If I was them, I was like, nah, sit at the police station. But she shows up and she's, what's in there? We know Pia is the aggressive one. Sophie, I already got my things about her, so she ain't show up. But Pia, she's there for her brother, and he's like, ain't nothing back there. We got to continue the investigation. The detective, he's really trying to get this case figured out. So he's like, hey, I know I'm on missing persons, but I want to be on homicide. I want to take it to the next level. And the head detective, he's like, look, no, because it sounds like you working too hard, and we just out here really just chilling, just collecting our check day by day. But Amiri, he's saying, hey, let me get on this. He's like, nah, don't worry about that. But at the same time, Sophie finally pulls up. She comes up there. She gives a little bit of information, but he has to take her home. I don't know why they're escorting her home. How did she get there? Did she leave the car at the police station? Now they got to escort her back home. But anyway, the detective takes her home. Everyone's outside, the news, the media. Hey, what's going on? What do you have any information? Can you ask us? Can you answer anything? And she's sitting in the back of the car, kind of scared. And he's like, hey, clear some space. Let her through. Now, the head detective, he pulls up too. He's like, look, forget this. We need cell phones. We need cell phone records from all of y'all. Is it all right if we access y'all cell phones? Now, Detective Amiri, he's like, oh, we can't compel you guys to give it to us. Pretty much, they don't have a warrant to get these cell phones. But if they volunteer to give it to the cops, then okay, cool. We can, start to find any clues from this. Any text messages from you guys? Is there anything he sent, like an email? But they don't have a warrant for any of this. And I told you, when talking to the police, never talk to them about anything without a lawyer present. Because if they do this and they go through your phone, they could be like, oh, maybe they got something that has to do with it. Always talk to the police with a lawyer because they flip things. And it's not who they get for the crime, it's who they get. Meaning anybody. They pin the thing on anybody, case closed. We look good in the media's eye. Woody, oh my bad, the detective and Pia, they have a little conversation. She's talking about the first 48 hours. If there's no missing body, for the missing person, then it usually goes unsolved or you don't, catch whoever did the crime. But were you remembering she matched with somebody? It was the detective. His name was Woody on the thing, but her phone dropped in the water in the toilet, so she couldn't respond. But what he did say is, since I'm on missing persons, if you and the family, they go to the police precinct and make a recommendation for me to take over the case, then I'll do everything I can to help you. So for her, she's like, all right, cool. Because he's actually trying to do the job. We know everybody else, homicide, they just chilling because it's like, who cares? It's a dead body. Let's get this checked. The detective, he's just walking around the house willy-nilly, looking around, knocking on the kid's door. But he goes in the oldest son's room. And he's in here on the laptop and tablet. And he's talking to the detective. He's like, yeah, it's a thing called geo-niching. And what it is you and I, we download an app. We go outside. And it's kind of like, taking pictures for Google Maps or whatever. You go out there and you survey the area. And if there's no body or any clues or anything, then you'll mark this as, hey, this section is clear. As you can see, the red dots are saying, hey, we was up here looking, we didn't find anything. And eventually it'll turn all red, meaning, all right, all this land has been, combed over. Let's go to a different area to help find clues because everybody's looking for Nick. Now detective has the tablet. He has the information. He downloaded it to himself and he's going over a little transcript. And the son, Ethan, was like, Mom spent the weekend in the bed while Dad pretends everything was fine. I don't know what's wrong. I hate it more. So pretty much now we know that Nick and Sophie, they had an argument. She was in the room crying. The son heard it. And the detective, he's on it. He bringing it back to work like, hey, look what I got here, man. This is a lead. Can I go off this? Can I do some questioning? And they're like, hey, man, slow your roll, brother. Detective Amiri brings it to homicide. He's like, look, whatever you got with me, whatever little beef you got with me, that's fine. But this is what your team missed. And he handed him over some evidence. And the dude's sitting there. You see how he's taking. He's like, oh, brother, cut it out. We ain't trying to work that hard. He had all of his crew around him. They just sitting there on the table. Like, if I worked there, I never hang around the boss. I don't care what the boss got to say. I'm not about to be laughing at no jokes. Ha ha, that's a good one, boss. I might be like, just sit at my thing. I'm on Amazon. I'm trying to order something, man. Forget that. Y'all working too hard and it's nighttime. I was supposed to get off at 5 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock. We in here. We just sitting around. Now, detective, he's on missing persons. He's working overtime. I'm talking about he ain't getting paid for this, though, because they already said they ain't got the funding for it. But he sees the geo niche and he goes out into the woods because he's like, oh, there's a hit. When he gets out there, there's some kids. This dude comes out with the flashlight and the gun like, hey, freeze, police. They like, hey, man, we just some kids. We just out here, you know what I'm saying? Geo niching. We trying to see if there's any evidence out here. So this dude is on high alert, which is very dangerous because, you know, them cops be coming out with them guns. They just be shooting off and don't even be looking at what they shooting at. You know how it goes. We gotta make a statement to the press. We got to let the people know what's going on inside the house, because if not, the tabloids get a hold of things and they start running with it. Nick ran away with a girl. Nick does this. Well, Nick is already accused of being a murderer and a woman abuser. So Sophie, she comes out, she addresses the public and tells everybody, just to give them some reassurance that Nick isn't this type of guy. He's a good guy. He wouldn't hurt anybody. So all these rumors and what you're seeing on the internet is false. Now, if you look at the lady cop behind her, like, she's like, man, I'm not believing none of this. And the detective for homicide, he in the back like, oh, how do I keep getting drugged into this? But Sophie is just trying to stay positive. And she says, Nick, if you're listening to this, we care for you. We love for you. Because you got to be hopeful in these kind of situations. Pia and Woody, the detective, they're talking. She replays the voicemail that Nick left. Hey, there's something I need to talk to you about. Something's going on. So he takes this back to work and he's like, hey, listen, we got this voicemail the day that he went missing. We gotta follow up on this. And the head lady, she's looking at him like, wait a minute. You and Pia have a relationship? He's like, it's not really a relationship. It was just on a dating app. But you can check that. It wasn't nothing more than just on a dating app. This is a conflict of interest. So if you're dealing with somebody, you can't work that case. We just can't do it because feelings will be involved. And one thing we know is we use facts, not feelings. And when feelings are involved, your mind can get led to something else and you ain't gonna be on track. So that's why they don't let you do that with a conflict of interest. Now that this information is out, the whole office, homicide and everything, they take his pictures off his dating app and they put it up around the office. Now, if this is a woman, it would be sexual harassment. All kinds of stuff before a guy is just ha ha, chuckle, chuckle, chuckle. And this is the police department, people. And this is 2020. I know it was recorded in Australia, but this is supposed to be Oakland. This right here should get everybody fired. Anybody that laughed at this, anybody that printed off this should be locked up. But when it's on a man, they don't care. But this is where Amiri and the detective from homicide, they get into it. He's like, man, you may not want to do this job like me, but whatever your personal beef is with me, we need to end it. I'm trying to do the job and figure out who killed this guy Nick or who kidnapped him, because we don't know if he's dead at this point. Just because you get harassed at work doesn't mean the workday is over. Hello? Okay, we'll be out there. Now they get a call. They end up finding Nick's bike on the side of the road. Now they're looking at it and they're saying this path is on the path that he took on a day-to-day basis. They see tire marks and they say they might match up with that van that we seen. But when they go into the woods, they also find a syringe. And they're saying this may be the way he was kidnapped. Stab him with something, put him to sleep, knock him out. And they're like, we got to run into the lab. So Detective Amiri, he's looking around like, oh, man, this is starting to get real. But now that we know he was riding his bike on a path, let's trace that path back and see if, there's any cameras to see anything. Detective wants to talk to Sophie one-on-one. So he excuses everybody from the room because I heard the voicemails. I seen the transcript of your son saying you and your husband were arguing. What's really going on? Well, every marriage has its up and downs. And he's like, nah, I'm not trying to hear no up and downs. What's going on? Do you know where he is? And I told you, never talk to the cops without a lawyer, because they don't care who they arrest. They just have to arrest somebody for it. And the prime suspects are usually the ones closest to him, a significant other, a brother, of that nature. So that's why he's going in on her. And she's like, whoa, we just had like a little argument. But it's deeper than that. And I told y'all in the first episode, when she wasn't really saying much, she's guilty of something. She was going behind Nick's back. She's doing something. Detective Amiri goes to Pia now. Pia, listen, you let me hear that voicemail. You said that you guys got into an argument. He's just trying to help. And she's like, all right, I didn't give you all the information. All right, me and Nick, we're very close, but he told me he got his ribs bruised because he got hit by a basketball player. So he's like, a basketball player? Nick don't look like no hooper from the pictures y'all showing me. Nick look like he just go to work. He riding a bicycle. He like the white version of Mo. But she's like, all right, look. He said he got bruised, but he wouldn't tell me what really went on. So as a detective, this is really going to help when I go back and trace the path that he takes to work every day. Because I got to see, did he get into it with anybody? Who is this basketball player? Bling, bling, bling. We get a hit on the app in between a deep conversation of what happened to Nick. There's a sighting. They think it's Nick's body. They got to go down to the docks. They heading down there. They speeding. I'm talking about we got to get there because if it's him, oh my goodness. And when we get there, it's a whole crowd of people. So just off a natural instinct, I would have pulled up and seen all these people. At least one of them would have called the police if there was actually a real body there. But everyone's just out there with their cell phones. So I'm thinking it's probably not that serious. When they get there, like I said, I didn't think it was anything serious because everyone just got their camera phones out there laughing. No one's like, oh my gosh. No one's going down there to see if he's all right. It's just a dummy down there with a face of him on it. Now she's like, oh. So for her, this is serious. Everybody else is joking around. They get back to the car. The detective's leaning on like he out of breath. Y'all just walked 10 feet. It sucks though. They live streaming and you hear some girl in the back, hey, can I get a selfie? Like, who said that? That's permission for all the women in the crowd to go ahead and whoop on her. Can I get a selfie? Man, she looking for her brother, man. Now, detective, he's focused now. We got to figure out what happened to Nick. Plus, I'm trying to get at Pia, you know what I'm saying? So he follows the trail and he goes to a little bar and he asks for the security footage and he sees, wait a minute, this is Nick at the bar, some big dude. Damn, he whooping on Nick. But he can't, he can't react like that because he's a cop. But he's like, damn, Nick getting his ass whooped. And he's looking at it. And if you see on the back of the shirt, he got a long sleeve and it looked like some like little fireworks or something on it. But he's like, oh, so Nick got whooped on. Okay. We need to find out who this black guy is. He calls Pia like, hey, you got to see this. And he's just showing everybody this tape. I'm talking about Nick getting whooped on. Bat! Hit him in the ribs. Knocked him to the ground. Bat! Bat! I'm talking about, I whooping on the bartender over there just cleaning the cups like, damn. Hey, who gonna pay Nick's tab? And that's what I would have been saying. And Pia's looking at it like, oh, that's why his ribs are so messed up. They get another hit on the app. Detective gets out there as fast as possible. There's more kids out there. He pulls his gun on them again. Freeze! They run 5-0. They run off and we come across a body. Now he had to run across this water. I'm talking about he's in the suit, dress socks, got the slacks on, got on probably some Steve Adams, you know what I'm saying? But he runs through the water. I'm like, I would have went across the water and then walked over because I'm not messing up my dress clothes, not even at work. But they get over there and we find the body and it's Nick. He comes into work. Everybody's clapping it up for him. Like, boy, you did your thing. Just a minute ago, they was hating and laughing at his dating profile pictures. But he comes in, he's tired. And he means business now. I told y'all I was going to figure this case out. Yeah, I ain't want to listen, though. Dun, dun, dun. I told you it had to be something with Sophie. While he's going through her social media. Wait a minute. There's a picture. This guy has the same shirt with like the little fireworks or whatever it is on the back of his shirt. And he's in the picture with Sophie. Where have I seen this shirt from? That's the guy that whooped on Nick. Oh my goodness. There you go. Episode 2, The Detective. What do you think about Detective Amiri? He really doing his job. But I also told y'all, Sophie, there was something about her because she wasn't sticking up for her husband, Nick, like Pia, the sister, was. Let me know what y'all think about Pia and Sophie and this random guy. Is this maybe a guy Sophie was having an affair with? Let me know what y'all think. I'm Mouzakis. If you like the content on the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Thanks for watching. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.